Hey guys, welcome, yay. It's gonna take me just a second to get all of my technology squared away. I'm using this service Zoom, and then I'm also going to be streaming it to Facebook. So it's gonna take, and my little Facebook screen is right over here. So it's gonna take me just a sec to kind of get everything up. So just give me a minute. And I also wanna make sure I can see there are a few people here. I want to make sure that I can see any questions you have. So if someone would be awesome and just kind of type in hi, or if you have a question, go ahead and ask a question. Okay, I see a raised hand. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Awesome. So Tia, I can see a raised hand. Okay. And then, is there a spot, guys, that you can see where you can ask a question? Oh, I see the chat now. Awesome. And Orly said hi, and that goes to everybody. Okay, awesome, thank you. So now I know that you can see me, and you can hear me, and I can get your questions too. Okay, so let me connect to Facebook here. Oh, okay. Sorry guys, this is just gonna take me a sec. Make sure I share it in the right group. Yes, go live. Okay. Now. Okay. All right. So I see the Facebook is going. Okay. Okay. Yay! I think I figured everything out. Let me just double check here on Facebook. Awesome. Yay! Okay, so if you're on Facebook, I know that some of you are going to be kind of jumping on. If you are on Facebook, if you could just say hi and let me know that you can hear me. I know that it's streaming, so we're good there. Okay, so I'm going to close this question box. Oh, so how have you guys been? Has it been a good weekend? How was the no sugar weekend? Was it hard, easy, challenging, harder than you thought, easier than you thought? I thought I had a moment, I have to say. I had a moment on Friday that was pretty challenging. But I got through it. Let's see. Okay. All right. All right. So I'm going to flip over into my slides. You should still be able to see me. Go ahead, if you have questions as we go through, ask your questions. Hopefully I'll get to them as we're going through. If not, then we will go through them at the end. I'm recording this, so hopefully the recording comes through okay. So if you have to leave in the middle, no problem. I know that the Grammys are on tonight, so yeah. I never pay attention to the award shows, which is why I didn't even think before I scheduled this. Okay, let me share my screen and get to my slides so we can get started. Share screen, workshop. Okay. And okay, yay. So first, I wanted to say, hooray, you did it, you're here. You have done 7 days without sugar. Maybe you did 5 days without sugar. Maybe you did 3 days without sugar, fell off the wagon, got back on, whatever. You're here and you are making strides towards improving your diet, improving your health. That's awesome. right? That's always awesome in my book. So honestly, so well done. And I also wanted to thank you. I know that this challenge was free, but it also required your time and your energy and your commitment and trying new foods and trying new things and different ways of looking at things. So thank you for stepping up and doing it with me, and for participating, for coming to the live Q&A, for sending me your emails, your questions, and also for joining me tonight. Thank you, thank you. All right, so what would change in your life if you could permanently change your sugar habit? I want you to think about that for a second. Just really kind of mull it over. Close your eyes, mull it over. What would change for you? So how great would it be to have your favorite ice cream, whatever it is, or your favorite go-to, in your house, in your pantry, in your freezer, without having to eat it all, or to have it sitting there like ice cream without eating it every single night, right? Maybe it takes you a month to get through a pint of ice cream. What would that feel like? Oops. I've got two different mouses I'm working with. Okay, what about passing up the donuts in the break room, right? Work is such a challenging environment to eat healthy, to eat clean, to pass up sugar. So what if you could just pass those by because it really just didn't affect you? You're not using willpower control. You just literally didn't want one. What would that be like? And what if you could have and enjoy just one cookie and not all of those cookies? So if you could change your relationship with sugar permanently, you might be able to lose weight and maintain it. You'd have more energy, maybe feel less irritable, have fewer blood sugar swings throughout the day, reduce inflammation in your body, have a flatter tummy or feel less bloated, have clearer skin, fewer wrinkles, and maybe even lessen your chance of stroke, diabetes, and some types of cancer. So getting control of your sugar habit is a big deal. It's a really big deal. And as you move on beyond this challenge, kind of coming back to why it is a big deal for you is really, really important. So try to connect to your why. What's the reason why you want to really kind of get a handle on it now? So tonight we are going to talk about how much sugar is okay to eat. The USDA and the American Heart Association make some recommendations. We're going to talk about those because you don't necessarily have to avoid sugar altogether. You can have some in your life if that's what you want and if that's what works for you. How to eat less sugar every day without feeling like you're depriving yourself. So how to cut out a whole bunch of sugar and you really won't even notice it. And then how to transition from this no sugar challenge to a low sugar lifestyle, but avoid the rebound effect that you might experience. And we really want to avoid, because I want you guys to take everything that you've learned in these last 7 days and apply it to your health and wellness and your goals moving forward. I don't want this to just be a one-off for you. I want this to be a pivoting point in your life. Oops, that's hilarious. I keep hitting the wrong keyboard, the wrong mouse. Okay, I talked a lot about changing cravings from the inside out. And that was in the different videos that I gave you guys to watch every day. So looking at your sleep and finding your substitutions for sweets. And remember that your substitutions aren't necessarily different kinds of sweets. Like they can be, remember the sour food, sauerkraut or kimchi, and roasted vegetables and different things that don't necessarily taste sweet, but they can still kind of be swapped in for a sweet, or it can be fruit or dried fruit, whatever. Exercise was really important. Starting to shift your diet to one that is based on plants, protein, and fat. When you're sitting down and looking at a meal, making sure you can hit those 3 points, and start to have better blood sugar balance and control throughout the day. Managing your stress, that's another big one. Like I said, I have so many clients that say, you know, my job isn't stressful or my life isn't particularly stressful, but it really has a lot more to do with how we manage our stress and taking active steps to manage our stress. And are we doing that? As opposed to whether you feel like you should have stress or not, or should be stressed. I think it's fair to say that in today's day and age, most of us deal with a pretty consistent level of stress, just driving around and dealing with people and all of it. Mindset is huge, and that technique I introduced on day 6. There are lots of different mindset techniques you can use to help with cravings, both in the moment and kind of long term, but that was one of them. And then digging deeper. So if you feel like you're doing all the things, but you're not seeing any changes to your cravings and the intensity of your cravings, then you can dig a little deeper and see what else is happening. There could be some sort of imbalance in your body. Make sure you go back if you haven't caught up on those, watch those, because they're going to give you just like a fuller understanding of your sugar cravings. Oh, I'm about to do it again. Okay, so how do I go from no sugar to low sugar? How much is too much? That's the first question really to answer. So the USDA says that both men and women can get about 9 teaspoons of added sugar a day. This is the recommendation from the American Heart Association. The American Heart Association has a slightly more conservative recommendation for women, and it's the one I go with: 6 teaspoons for women, 9 for men. Now, I don't know, does that sound like it's a lot to you, or does it sound like it's just a little bit? What does that feel like? I know after not having sugar for a whole week, maybe that feels really luxurious. I'm like, wow, 6 teaspoons. I could do so much with that. But what does that feel like for you? Yeah, so for men, that's 36 grams. For women, that is 24 grams of sugar. Keep that number in mind. If that number is new to you, I want you to write it down somewhere so that you can remember it, because it's going to come into play in a minute. So the average American eats about 17 teaspoons of sugar a day. So that is a lot, especially considering we're only supposed to be getting about 6 teaspoons of sugar. So 7 is a lot. And what you might find surprising, or sorry, 17 is a lot. What you might find surprising is that you can get 17 grams of added sugar or more by eating so-called healthy foods. And that's why I have this big X through the cookies, because yes, some people drink soda and eat cookies and other sweets, and that's where they're getting a majority of their sugar from. But a lot of you guys in the challenge are probably on the other side, where you're eating healthy food or foods that seem healthy, and maybe we just haven't been as good about checking how much sugar is in it. And it is really, really surprising when you start to read labels and find out just how much sugar is in the food that we eat. And it's not in the sweets per se. That 17 teaspoons can definitely come from just everyday food. Okay, and I wanted to kind of show you to illustrate this. So if you started your day with Go Lean Crunch, which is a cereal that a lot of us think of as a healthful cereal, and then have some Almond Breeze almond milk, right? And maybe you didn't get the sugar-free one, you get the one that has added sugar. That has 13 grams of sugar. Combined with the Go Lean Crunch, that's already over the amount of added sugar we can have in a day. And then maybe you've cleaned up your diet a lot, but you're still kind of holding on to the sweetened creamers in your coffee, which is something a lot of people do. That is about 6 grams of added sugar. 31 grams just at breakfast of added sugar, and that's about 7 teaspoons. If you were to have Dave's Killer Bread, which is actually, it's a fairly good quality bread. It's pretty good considering everything else on the market, but it does have a fair amount of sugar. So if you were to eat a sandwich that has 2 slices of bread with turkey and mayo and mustard and veggies, and then you had a Chobani yogurt, this particular yogurt has about 10 grams of added sugar, that is 20 grams of added sugar, and that's 5 teaspoons. And let's say for a snack you had a Luna bar, right? So not a Larabar, not an RX bar, but a Luna bar that has about 7 grams of added sugar, and you had a tall no whip mocha. So that's just a tall, right? Not a large, or, you know, like that is 17 grams of added sugar, about 4 teaspoons. And then let's say for dinner you had pasta sauce with turkey meatballs, and you had it either over a whole grain spaghetti or spaghetti squash, and a green salad with a light salad dressing. Well, pasta sauce is a place where you're going to find a lot of added sugar. You can find a lot more than 7 grams, and you can also find ones that have less than 7 grams. This brand is a great brand, Newman's Own, but it does have a lot of sugar. And then salad dressing is a place, especially if you're going light or low fat, or well, light, low fat, or fat free, where you can get a lot of added sugar. You can find high fructose corn syrup still. So you think you're doing something healthy by eating salad with salad dressing that has high fructose corn syrup, and you're adding all this sugar to your salad. So that is 14 grams of added sugar, about 3 teaspoons. So in the day, that is about 82 grams of added sugar, 20 teaspoons. Now that was not a day filled with soda and like Twinkies. That was just like what a lot of people would think of as a healthy day, right? So this added sugar thing is a big, big deal. And what you might be thinking, what people ask me is like, how do I eat less sugar without feeling deprived? Now, remember what I said before is that a lot of us are not, I mean, yes, we have the sugar cravings, and we hit the candy jar at work, and there are the donuts, and there's the like sugary stuff all around us. But it's the everyday food that we're eating that has a lot of sugar in it. And that's where we're getting a majority of the added sugar in our diet, like where we're going too far over the limit. So what we have to do is to read labels. You have got to know what's in your everyday food. Have to. Anytime I start working with a client, this is one of the first things we either go over or I check in with and make sure that that you know exactly what is in the food that you're eating every day. Because it's the food that you eat every day that makes the biggest impact on your diet. Like if you're having ice cream once a month, yes, I would love for those ingredients to be good, clean ingredients, but it matters far less than the bread that you're eating every single day, or the vitamin that you're taking every day, or the peanut butter you're eating every day. You want the stuff that you consume daily to be good, high quality stuff. So this is an action step for you. I want you to write down the top 5 foods that you eat either every day or every week. And here's the thing. I want it to be the stuff that comes in a box, in a jar, in a bag, in a container, right? So don't write down apples or bananas or eggs or single ingredient things, okay? Some really good candidates would be like peanut butter, bread, yogurt, pasta sauce, salad dressing, ketchup, barbecue sauce, everything else pretty much. If you do lean cuisine, if you do any of those boxed frozen lunches, all of that stuff, cottage cheese, any of it, write all that down. Not all of it. Sorry, the top 5. Because if you write it all down, then you get overwhelmed. So you start with the top 5. Oh, I'm hitting the wrong button all night. Okay. And then you're going to go and check to see how much added sugar is in the food. So start with your top 5, and then go and see how much sugar is in each of those items. Now, there is not like a, if it's more than 10 grams, don't buy it kind of thing. You just want to make sure that it's going to fit in your life in the right way. Now, let me explain. Some people like to, like if they know they have 24 grams of added sugar to work with, then they like to hit maybe 5 to 6 grams for their breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then leave some wiggle room for snacks or a glass of wine or something in the evening to, you know, keep under that added sugar limit. So you can kind of play with that. Once you start to read labels, you will get a feel for how much added sugar is too much. And if you start just by going through the foods that you eat every day or every other day, ideally you're going to get those as low as possible on the sugar scale. And from there, what you do, oh, let me tell you. So to find the added sugar right now, and for not much longer actually, but right now, both naturally occurring sugar, right? So that's milk sugar and sugar that comes from fruit or vegetables. That is combined with added sugar in the label. So in this label here, that 12 grams of sugar, that's a combination of 2 sugars. And the only way we know is if we look at the ingredients. Very, very soon though, I think within the year, companies have to start separating them out, added sugar and, well, sugar and then added sugar. So we're gonna have a really clear picture of how much added sugar is in our food, but not quite yet. But you'll start to see that on some food packages. So we have to read the ingredients list. This particular box here, this is off of cereal. And the first ingredient listed is sugar. That actually means there's more sugar in that cereal than any other food. But we have to look in the ingredients and look to see if you see any type of sugar. And we talked about this in the handbook that you guys got at the beginning of the 7-day challenge. It's the same thing you're looking for, except this time you can eat it if there's sugar in it. You just want to get clear on how much added sugar is in it and kind of figure that out in the label. Now this is from your handbook. These are added sugar and hidden sugars. What I want to highlight, these are all different names for sugar. What I want to highlight is that all sugar counts, guys. So agave nectar, like the healthy sugars, agave nectar, which is not a healthy sugar, by the way, molasses, honey, maple syrup, coconut sugar, brown rice syrup, date sugar, all of that stuff, it counts. All right, so when you're looking at that 24 grams of added sugar, it all counts. All right, so finally, what I want you to do is swap out the high sugar foods for better alternatives. And this is why I have you go 5 at a time. So start with 5. If they're all kind of high in sugar, or if they all have some sugar in them and you want to try and swap them out, then just focus on those 5. So it's going to take you some time to go through and see if there's a better food at your grocery store, or would you have to go to a different store? Is it more expensive, or can you find one the same price? You know, you go through all of those things and look, and also looking at the label to make sure that the ingredients are still real whole food ingredients. So it takes a little bit of time, and that's why you go through in chunks like that. Okay. So, all right, let's talk a little bit about how to avoid the rebound effect. So this would be going from this no sugar challenge to having, you know, sugar back in your life and kind of figuring out how to walk that line in the transition period. All right, so tonight or tomorrow, whenever you're going to break your no sugar fast, I want you to think about choosing quality over quantity. So you might have something in your head that you want to go for. Like, so maybe you've been thinking about chocolate. You really want chocolate, or you really want a glass of wine, or, I don't know, ice cream. Whatever it is, I don't want you to just grab whatever is there because it's there. I want you to make a point of going out and getting the best quality one that you can find that's in your budget, and just something that you just love, love, love. Okay? You have my permission. And sit down when you have that treat. I want you to sit and eat it. Don't eat it in your car on the way to work tomorrow morning. Sit and eat it and really like be present, taste it, and taste what it, actually tastes like. So perhaps your taste buds have started to adjust a little bit over this week, maybe. So taste and see, like, does it taste how you remember? Is it better? Is it, it's probably not gonna be worse, but could you take it or leave it? So really kind of tune in and sit with it and enjoy it. The second tip is to choose ahead of time. So again, think about what you want and really start to use this strategy in every day, like choosing ahead of time. You're using a different part of your brain. You're making the choice that you know is right for your body and is working toward your goal, if that makes sense. If you're making the choice in the moment, you're much more likely to choose something based on what other people are eating, something based on outside influence, or something that's going to kind of appease your mood or your emotions. Okay, so if you can choose ahead of time, if you can plan your meals out, if you can decide before you go to the restaurant, decide on what treat you're going to have to break this no sugar challenge, you will find it a little bit easier to manage. All right, but that's one of the strategies, is to choose ahead of time and use that different part of your brain. This is hilarious. I think every single time I've gone to take the slide to the next frame, I've used the wrong button. Okay, so next I want you guys to think about like what worked for you during this challenge and try to identify why. So was it the fact that you had maybe done all of your meal prep and you were just on top of it? And maybe you can think back and think that was the big difference maker. So then how can you bring that into this week especially, but the rest of your life? What else might have worked? Maybe for you, you really focused on getting to bed every night and you found that you weren't tired. Try to see how you can bring that into this week ahead, just that one action of getting enough sleep. I've had clients who say that, my afternoon sugar cravings totally disappeared when I started eating a bigger lunch because they were just hungry. So maybe you realize that too, and you can start to plan to have either a bigger lunch or a bigger snack in the afternoon so that when you get home from work at 4:30 or 5 or 6, you're not starving, right? So try to identify at least one thing that you did different this time and think about why it worked and how you can bring it into this week ahead especially, but how you can kind of incorporate that into your life and into your lifestyle, okay? Okay, and then the last one is to stay tuned in. Maybe you had the opportunity this week to really kind of confront that craving. Maybe you felt a moment where you really wanted that sugary sweet and you had to find another option. Well, I want you to continue to have those moments, but to kind of tune in and see like, well, what's underneath this? Because now moving forward, you can have that sweet. And when I work with clients, I work from a place of typically from allowing, we can have that sugary sweet, but let's try and think about some other things that can help us change our energy and feel good in this moment. But the first step is to kind of tune in and realize what's happening underneath that. And it's what I talked about in the 6th strategy, video number 6. And it's something I talk a lot with clients about, because we tend to just kind of move through the day, and especially as it relates to food, and we don't trust ourselves and we don't think about food and really kind of tuning into our emotions and our cravings. So once you can put that pause on and think about why you're craving what you're craving, that technique is going to help you so much as you kind of move forward with sugar in your life. So, oops. Okay. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. So if you're watching on Facebook, feel free to just pop any questions in the comments. And then if you're watching on Zoom, you can use the chat, or I think the Q&A would work too. Okay. So how awesome would it be to get to the bottom of your cravings for sugar? You've had this 7 days to get a feel for your sugar habit, right? And you've had these different strategy videos to help you really start to see that there's a lot more to understanding sugar cravings than what you would find like in a Google search. Because I know when I search, I find like chew gum and drink a glass of water or go for a walk. And all of those strategies work, but they're all the same strategy essentially. And there are more things we can do than just ignoring it or deflecting our attention to something else, right? There's more than we can do. And I hope that these 7 different strategies that I shared in the videos really helped you see that, like, wow, there are things I can do to dial down my cravings for sugar. So it's not all about willpower and control. Okay. But now it's really time to kind of put it all together and get to a spot in your life where eating clean just feels like second nature, and you can control your sugar habits without willpower. Like, imagine being in a room with all of your favorite sweets. So for me, that would be like brownies and chocolate chip cookies and carrot cake. That's a favorite, and a red velvet cupcake. Like, if all of those were in the room, I can have one of something. I can have a bite of something. I can have half of something. Or I can choose to have one of each without feeling guilt, or if I just have a bite without feeling deprived. And the next day, like, I'm good to go. It's not like a falling off the wagon or whatever. It's just good. The drama's gone. And to get there, to get to that spot, I honestly recommend getting more support and accountability, because you've started to make changes in these last 7 days and you want to see them stick, right? You want to get beyond these superficial strategies and really see the changes you've begun to make stick. So the personalized attention that you would get working with a coach one-on-one is far more powerful and effective than working through these strategies or piecing together techniques on your own. I have worked with over 100 busy women, and I've helped them to create healthier diets where they feel like they don't have to count calories or count points to lose weight or to maintain their weight. They have more energy. They have just kind of dropped the food drama. And the ones that are most successful at that, like in the long term, are the ones that go beyond the free coaching or the group program and work with me one-on-one. So I have a program called End Sugar Cravings Now. And in it, we work together to like get a full picture understanding of your sugar craving. And then we like develop strategies that work just for your unique situation, because different things work for different people. And we get you to that place where you can enjoy sugar cookies or whatever is your thing. You can enjoy it, but you don't feel like compelled to have it. And there's a big difference there. And there's a lot of freedom in that too. So in the program, we look at the whole picture. So if you know me, I know some of you know me and some of you are new to me. If you know me, you know that we look at everything. So we look at your diet, we look at your lifestyle, and we look at your mindset. So that at the end of our time together, you know exactly what is really kind of pulling at your cravings. You know how to fix it. And then you also have more energy and you understand how to better balance your blood sugar. It's pretty awesome. And I have a bonus for you guys. So if you did the 7-day challenge, so it doesn't matter if you feel like you did it and you were like, yes, triumphant, or maybe you fell off the wagon at day 3, whatever. If you signed up for the challenge, then you get this bonus. So what I'm offering is $50 off my End Sugar Cravings Now program. And in addition to the discount, you also get a free session with me, an additional free session. So that extends the program out to 5 weeks of support to help you really, really like change your sugar habit now so that it's not affecting you like indefinitely into your future. And if you sign up by Friday, this coming Friday, the bonus is good through then. And then I was also thinking, last time I did this no sugar challenge, I had several people write in and say, like something that the challenge showed me is that I'm actually okay with sugar, which is awesome. But I have all these other things kind of going on that I want help with. And I liked you, but sugar is not my problem. So how can you help me with that? And so this time I decided to offer you guys a bonus as well on my other program that I have. It's a 3-month kind of exclusive package that really helps you shift from diet mentality into a clean eating diet where you're able to manage your weight, lose weight without points and calories. You get to that place where you feel comfortable in your skin and in your body, and you just have tons of energy to do what you want to do with your life. The energy to really become the best version of yourself. So if that sounds at all interesting, there is a $100 discount for that if you sign up by Friday. So if you're interested in working with me, then what you would do next is either email me, katie@simplycleanmeals.com, or you can sign up for one of the free consults. It's just a 15-minute, there's zero obligation to buy. It's just a way for us to chat it out and see if we'd be a good fit. You can ask all your questions, and then also I can help you figure out if working together is your next best step or if something else would work better for you. So yeah, so I'm really excited for those bonuses. If you guys have any questions about, you can ask questions about the programs, but if you have any questions about the 7-day no sugar challenge, like what to do now, I did have somebody email me. She wasn't going to be able to join live, but she emailed me and asked about coffee. So, and this is something I actually talked about in the last round of the no sugar challenge. So coffee and tea in the morning is the hard one. And what I want you to do in these next couple days as you're adding sugar back into your diet, I want you to just, let's say they used to add 4 teaspoons of sugar. Let's just use a big one. I want you to add like 1 teaspoon of sugar in your coffee and taste it and see how that tastes, like see how that feels. And if that doesn't, you know, quite feel sweet enough, then go to 2 and taste it and see. And that way you're not just jumping right back into what you used to add to your coffee. You are kind of slowly seeing if you can dial it back a little bit. So that's something to think about. And anything that you added sugar to before. Coffee and tea were the main ones I thought of. But smoothies too, I know a lot of people add honey to your smoothies. If you cannot add any extra sugar to your smoothie, that is ideal. Think about just using a little bit more banana, because that's going to add a little more fiber, and that's going to help a little bit with the blood sugar control. So think about how to use less added sugar to your drinks. All right, I've got a Facebook question here. What should our goal be around sugar substitutes, stevia, Splenda, etc.? I know it's affecting my sugar cravings, even though it's not part of the daily 6 teaspoons. Oh, such a good question. Okay, so I'm not a fan of sugar substitutes. I would rather you just use sugar or not use sugar, and get it down to under that 24 under that 24 grams per day recommendation. So if you're a person that cannot have sugar, if you're diabetic, certainly first talk to your doctor and your dietitian about what they recommend for replacements, for substitutes. But stevia is still what I recommend in that scenario. Some people can do monk fruit, I believe. But if you're somebody that can do sugar, but you're just looking for a substitute, I would say don't use the substitute. Use the sugar instead. Dial the sugar back. And then, yeah, use the sugar, dial the sugar back. And then try to kind of adjust it to the natural sugars. So I recommend honey and maple syrup are the 2 sugars that I recommend people using, like to add to their coffee, whatever. Because sugar is just highly processed. Like white sugar is highly, highly processed. If you Google how to make white sugar or something like that, it'll show you how they take it from sugarcane and beet. And it's just it's a big process. It's really interesting to see, but when you're looking at a diet that's just based in whole foods and just as close to the source as possible, honey and maple syrup really fit that bill. And white sugar, brown sugar, sugar in the raw, none of those, even coconut sugar is fairly processed, none of those really quite fit. So Jessica, I hope I answered that. Let me know. There's a bit of a lag between the Facebook and Zoom, but let me know if you have kind of a follow-up question for that. But yeah, you're right. Sugar substitutes still influence your cravings. So they're really not, they're no good. Okay, yes, thanks. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. All right, so anyone on my Zoom call have any questions? Somehow I lost the chat. I don't see a chat anywhere. There it is. Nope, we're good. Okay, so if you guys have questions, then just, you know, shoot me an email. I'm happy to answer those. If you're thinking that working with me might be your next best step, then definitely schedule a free consult and we can hop on the phone and just talk it through, see if it would be your next best step. Okay. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for doing the challenge, like I said in the beginning. If I can help in any way, let me know. Yeah, you'll be hearing from me soon. I'll be sending out this recording, and yeah, that's all I have. So have a fantastic night, guys. Enjoy the awards show if you're going to go watch that. Enjoy your treat tonight or tomorrow, whenever you're kind of breaking your detox, your sugar fast. And yeah, thanks, Tia. Thank you so much for being here. All right, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Have a great night. Let's see. Take me a minute here to sign off.